Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to another video here at the Armory. So today's video is going to revolve around magazine storage for your loaded magazines. So this is not something that I've talked about, and honestly I'm kind of surprised that I haven't. But basically we're going to talk about why you should have multiple magazines and how you should store them, and etc., etc. So, generally speaking, I think when you've, when you've created your own firearm, meaning you've built your AR from the ground up, or when you have went out and bought your AK-47 or your Tavor or whatever it is, you've went out, you've bought your firearm, and you only get like one magazine if you're lucky. Maybe you get two magazines if you're lucky. But ordinarily, you do have to go out and purchase multiple magazines. So I generally always think that you should have about 10 magazines, maybe 15 magazines. Because here's the thing, you don't ever want to have, if you only have like 2 firearms in your house, and you're using those to protect your family and everything, don't ever have any of these firearms unloaded and not ready to go. Now, obviously, that brings up the topic of, well, how do I have a loaded firearm and make sure that the people who are not supposed to get to it, they don't get to it? Well, that's where we'll have a conversation about concealment means of, like, concealable nightstands or anything like that, because there's plenty of things out on the market. But either way, you always want to have, if you only have a rifle, let's say you only have an AR-15 to protect your house. Well, then I would say that you need to have at least 2 magazines fully loaded and ready to go for that thing, if that's going to be your home defense weapon. And you have them loaded and you have them near your firearm. Now, you don't have to go the whole route of, having the magazine inside the gun, loaded and ready to go. I'm saying you don't have to. Preferably, you should. If nothing else, just have the magazine inside the firearm, and then literally all you have to do is just pull back on the charging handle and you're ready to go. Now, there's a reason why. In a very high-stress situation, first off, when we're talking about high-stress situations, just imagine this, for example. It's late in the day, middle of the night, and you know that everyone has gone to bed. And then you hear a knock-knock at the door. Okay, so you wonder what that is. But then, before you're able to get up, and then someone breaks down your door, the fear and the adrenaline is going to be pumping through your body. So just imagine this for a moment. You got an empty magazine. It's right next to your nightstand. You got a box of bullets. And this is loose ammo, obviously, that I'm working with. And no, I don't have a firearm anywhere near me that can shoot this magazine or these rounds. But I really want you to think about this for a minute. If you just have a box of ammo right next to you, empty magazine, and the gun is next to you, you got 3 things that you have to do. Now, in motions, you're going to have like several things you got to do. First off, you got to grab the mag. You got to grab the box of ammo. And then you've got to pull the bullets out, and then you got to try and load them. And here's the thing. You're scared, and you don't know what's going on, so your hands are going to be shaking. So just imagine just imagine trying to load this. See right here, I've already had a failure because I've pushed the bullet too far back off of the feed lip right there. So it was all the way back here, and it just shot out and went into the trash can. So I thought that was pretty cool. Alright. We'll grab that real quick. So what I'm trying to simulate here is trying to reload under stress. So I'm trying to really reload this as fast as I possibly can. And then, guess what's going to happen? Mistakes are going to be made. Because I'm not in a high pressure situation. I'm not in a stressful situation. So even though I'm trying to move as fast as I can, but I'm looking at the bullets, I've got light on. And what are you going to do if you're in a dark room? Not to mention, in order to even load, I didn't even count how many rounds is in this thing right now. But in order to load this magazine, it's going to be dark, even if you turn on the light. You're going to be so disoriented from being woke up from a deep sleep, and then all of a sudden someone's beating down your door, and you're trying to get in, and you're trying to get ready for an incident that may or may not happen. And then once you've went through all of this and the adrenaline is pumping, then you got to grab your rifle, and then you got to slap it in, and then you got to charge the rifle, and then by that time, it may already be too late. So that is why most of us in the gun community, if you have a firearm that you have designated to be your go-to-war rifle, your go-to-war pistol, or it is your home defense gun, whatever it is, make sure that you have that firearm loaded and ready to go. Now, if you have to perform one action on it, so just like for example, if I've got a fully loaded magazine right here, it is inside the, rifle. And all I have to do is pick up that rifle and pull back on the charging handle and it's ready to go. That's good. That's fine. If you want to be the type of guy who already has the magazine into the AR, charged and ready to go, and you just flip the safety on, that's, a very good thing too. You just have to make sure that no one's going to have access to your bedroom where you're probably going to store it, or you get a concealment shelf that's mounted to your wall, so that way in the middle of the night you're going to be able to find it quickly, know exactly where it is, and then get into action. So there's that, obviously, but the other most important thing that I want to talk to everyone about is how to store your magazines. So one of the biggest things that a lot of people don't take into account when having loaded magazines for a lengthy period of time is the fact that this whole system has a spring inside of here that pretty much just, over time, as you compress the spring, and a lot of people will say, well, yeah, having it compressed is going to be good because then it's just going to have that much more strength when it pops back up. Well, as there may be some truth to that, it's always best to just always swap your magazines out after a lengthy period of time. So just like, for example, this magazine right here, I have just recently pulled out of my Ready Rig system. And as you can see right here, this stands for the month and the year that I had this going. So, and this is a paint marker. I don't recommend you use paint markers because it's very, very hard to get off of your magazine. But what I did find is, if you just use a Sharpie, you can easily, and I'll show you guys real quick, you can easily write 5/26. So right here, hopefully you guys will be able to make that out somewhat. Okay, that's better. So I got 5/26 right there. So obviously it doesn't show up well on camera. Maybe it'll work better if I turn this on. There we go. Right there. 5/26. So, obviously, to the naked eye, you'll be able to look at it, and if you just catch the glare just right from a light, you're going to see 5/26 on here. Well, the really cool thing is that even though Sharpies are permanent markers, you can just take a magic eraser and put some what did I use? Hydrogen peroxide on it, and it'll wipe that thing away very easily. Or you can go out and get like colored Sharpies, and I'm sure it'll do the same exact thing. But even the black one, as I showed you, will still show up on a black magazine. So there's that. So obviously this magazine has held those bullets for over a year. And I'm going to show you the system here real quick. So you go ahead, you have this little button right here. This is what holds the magazine spring and everything. So you can easily do this with just a little pen, push that down, and then this plate slides. Make sure to keep some tension right here on this spring, because if you don't, it's going to shoot right out. And then here is your magazine plate right here. Here's your feed ramp up here. And then here's your whole entire spring system. So yeah, you can definitely see that this thing still has some power to it. But you never want to just like 100% leave everything completely loaded for X amount of time. Give your magazines a chance to breathe a little bit. And that's another reason why I suggest that people have like multiple magazines. And then all you have to do is just take it, make sure you've got the right end on, and then you just go ahead and snap it back in, and it just clicks right into place. Now, other ones, like for example, these Amendment 2 guys. Let's see if I can pull up the name. There it is. Amendment 2. These guys work pretty well, but here's the kind of funky thing. It's a 2 underneath, so you gotta just like work it a little bit. And then when you try to pull that plate off, when you are reassembling this, sometimes it won't snap back into place, so all you have to do is just literally give it a smack, and then it'll realign itself back in. So obviously, I had this magazine loaded for over a year, and as you can still see, the spring is still in pretty good shape. But roughly, a lot of guys will tell you, try and swap out your magazines every 3 months, 6 months. I think it's a pretty good idea to do 6 months, because, as I said, I've had this magazine fully loaded for a year, and the spring is still in pretty good shape. But again, don't just take a chance on it, is what I'm saying. So I hope this video was a little helpful for you guys, and be on the lookout for more content. I just recently acquired a brand new computer. So pretty much what's going to happen is that whenever we want to do like videos here in the office or anything, we'll probably just go ahead and do it off of the computer. And when we're sequestered off-site from the office, I'll probably just end up using my phone. So I hope this video was informative for you guys, and I hope you guys are having a good day, and I hope you guys are enjoying your holiday week. Make sure that you remember what Memorial Day is all about. It's a day of remembrance for those who have fought for this country and died for it. So thank you guys for those who have served our military. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope you guys have a good day. And remember, shoot straight and shoot safe. Have fun.